Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for our cash tag segment, so let's bring in our next guest. That's Landon Swan. He's co-founder at LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Landon.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, so Wayfair. I mentioned the stock's pulled back 53% from highs that we saw after earnings last quarter. And I remember us talking about Wayfair, and you guys had seen metrics that had improved or data that had improved on this stock. I mean, the stock hit 1.5-year highs post-earnings. Now we're down another 50% from those levels, Landon. Is your data changed?
Right. It's been a pretty wild run. I mean, this stock was, around 90, I think, in August. Yeah. And now we're basically, 40, 42, something like that today. So, it's been cut in half, absolutely decimated. And they had pretty good results last quarter. I mean, they beat earnings. They're expected to lose, I think, 70-something cents per share, and they made 21 cents per share. So they slightly beat on revenue. But it's been a big sell-off, and it's actually been a sort of a low-volume sell-off. Not a huge technician, but I do think it's of note that the volume was not, huge when it comes to the sell-off that's been happening over the last few months. And when we talk about the data, I'll tell you, it looks pretty good. I mean, we've got web visits up about 16% on a year-over-year basis. I know that they've got headwinds. Interest rates are high. The consumer's tightening. Home improvement is absolutely slowing down. But they seem to be the winner when it comes to home decor and home improvement. So we love, obviously, that the pickup in web visits. That's going to drive traffic. That's how you buy from Wayfair, as you go to wayfair.com. So plus 16% on a year-over-year basis. Obviously, we're more bullish based on that. But then, they've shown just an ability to just execute extremely well. I'm reminded of back in March of 2020 when we put out a report to our clients saying this stock is about to go ballistic because everybody was renovating their homes. The stock was about $50. It went to $300, and for it to be back under that $50 level now, years later when they've been getting better and doing a great job is really wild to me. I think they're oversold, frankly. And when you look at how they're doing against some of their competition, they are the leader when we look at mentions and web visits both. So people are talking more about this company. They're going to their website more. You can see here compared to the rest. I mean, you can see the slowdown in the industry, but it's almost as if Wayfair is immune to it. So they're really executing very well. We do have back to school coming up right now. So college kids have been spending money, averaging about $1,300 to $1,400 per kid, redecorating their rooms, things like that. So that's involved in this quarter that's about to be reported. And just overall, we see a lot of strength in this company right now. So based on the fact that they beat last earnings, they've sold off on fairly low volume, and all the data is still strong. I think this just is a better buying opportunity than we've seen before. So this is a really strong bullish play for LikeFolio.
Landon, I'm going to keep this real simple because I think the people that want to trade this name are thinking like this. We know that sales got pulled forward for the pandemic. We know the ensuing hangover that occurred from pulling those sales forward. Are we through that, right? You mentioned the movement in the stock. This stock in May went from 37 to 90, and then August till now, hangover from the pandemic and all this sales that got pulled forward.
You know what? I'd say we were sort of through it, but you got your kids upstairs playing the drums, and that is the interest rates, right? So your hangover's pounding still a little bit because of the interest rates, and people aren't buying new homes and having to redecorate like they were before. So I think that's a little bit of a problem for this company. It's it's not the pandemic still and all that pull forward, but we've got a new thing going on, and it's the interest rates. So that is definitely posing a problem. And you could see it on, all those competition, that chart that we showed. They're all struggling, but Wayfair is the one that's kind of resilient here. So the idea behind our thesis is that they've got headwinds. They're outperforming their peers tremendously, and the data is actually bullish. If you look at them as they're performing today, knowing that there's a headwind, they're doing very well. However, if any of these headwinds start to move away, if interest rates do start to come down and home buying starts to pick up, then we're going to see a really big pickup because Wayfair is showing that they can dominate. They've got digital dominance over their competition, and they're front of mind for their consumers. So they're doing well now, and I think that everyone is sort of expecting that The headwinds that everyone's facing are just crushing Wayfair, and our data says that's not the case. So it appears to me that they're being very undervalued at this level. And of course, and I'll speak to the investors and the traders out there. This is a volatile stock. Like, be aware that this thing can move very, very quickly, as Kevin pointed out. So yes, we're absolutely bullish on it. I love any kind of risk-defined play that takes advantage of a big upward move here.
Landon, we got that chart up: Wayfair versus Home Goods, Pottery Barn, West Elm. It seems like this is a price point type of chart also, where maybe Wayfair is a little bit cheaper. And maybe people are struggling with inflationary pressures. Is that equated in there? And then also the restart of the student loan repayments. I'm expecting the company to probably say something on that front. Is that what might be damaging here? Because you did mention the volatility in the stock. It's only got 115 million shares float that trades publicly. So is that maybe the caveat here, where if they see some weakness from maybe their core purchaser or consumer, that might be at that lower price entry point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just more headwinds. But again, the data that we see is that they're navigating these headwinds very well. And, to speak to your price point conversation, they just had their second Way Day, which is sort of like, Amazon Prime's thing where they have deals. I think that was October 25th, 26th. It was up about 7% on mentions and visits on a year-over-year basis, and they discounted all kinds of things. So they know that their consumer is very price conscious, and they're taking advantage of that. And I think they're doing a good job of getting that brand recognition and getting, like I said before, getting to the forefront of consumers' minds, where when they think about redecorating a home or college dorm room or whatever it may be, just getting something new, they delivered a good experience for the user, so that next time they're coming back. So with the huge volatility that this stock has, with that small amount of float, I do think that given all of the data that we see, we're a little bit oversold right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of months from now we're back up in the 70, 80, 90 level.
All right, great stuff, great data. Bullish sentiment here on Wayfair. Appreciate it, Landon.
Thank you, guys. That's
Landon Swan, co-founder at LikeFolio, breaking down the Wayfair data. Kevin, implied volatility rising into this report. He mentioned the oversold levels. Still 31 RSI, so close to oversold. It bounced